guys, it's Elliot.
It's Will.
And today we are talking about raids, which is something we've actually also been working on for years, just like single player, and I'm really excited about it. Raids came about because once we started getting really addicted to Prismata, we wanted to have more ways of playing it with our friends. And I think originally Alex was the first person who suggested that we should try and have a social PvE mode. And of course, there's so many benefits to having that. You can play with your friends, you can invite your friends to play. Many gamers, they don't necessarily want a competitive type of game, but they really want more of a social, friendly atmosphere where they can play along with their friends and try and accomplish something or work together to defeat something. So that's the idea behind raids. And I think Prismata is a game that can facilitate that and could become a very popular mode of play. So
I remember.
When did we first start on raids?
Yeah, so it was maybe like a bit more than 2 years ago. I remember Alex made this sort of hill climber raid where there was just an AI enemy. It would generate successively more difficult units that you had to destroy one by one. It was called the hill climber raid, and it was guaranteed that you would eventually lose, but we had so much fun just trying to survive as long as possible, building units to kill the stuff that it generates. And I think you quickly took the idea and then made it way more elaborate, and we noticed this is really a space to explore. There's all these different interactions you can have between the players and the AI and the enemies, and how you start with your random sets, what units you can buy, how the players communicate, how they work together.
Yeah, and this sort of became a side project that, once a week or something, we'd try a new version of a raid, and we'd come up with something, we'd change it every week and try it, and it led us to a number of ideas. At first we started with random unit sets for the players as they were fighting against the boss or the waves of enemies, and eventually we actually settled on drafting as a mechanic that you could use to pick your set because it allowed you to express more skill as well as have influence over the choice of the different types of units you got based on your styles, and we were able to develop it quite far.
Raids are a friendly PvE form of Prismata that we plan on having in the future. Now, I'm leaking extreme early alpha graphics, so some things might look a bit funny, but the gist is the following. A team of, let's say, 3 raiders are trying to take down a boss that starts with some amount of health. The players take synchronized turns and could have different random sets. And after all 3 players are done taking their turn, then it's the boss's turn. And you can look at how your teammates are doing by panning left and right. Deal 1 damage to the boss, and the boss health is going to go down, which reduces the boss's spawning power on future turns. And it's very helpful that he took that wall away, because otherwise that wall is going to keep absorbing my 1 attack, and then it's not going to get anywhere. Whereas for him, I guess he's got less attack than me, so it's less of a waste. I think ideally maybe this guy should have taken it, because he's not attacking. The doomed wall, it dies after 3 turns, so if he took the doomed wall, it would have been better because the doomed wall is just going to die before he even starts attacking. So one of the most exciting things about raids is the draft at the start of the raid. You get to forge your own random set from packs with 6 units each, and you choose 2 from each pack. So you can try to choose 2 units that work well together each time. Or some players like to choose other units to be from the same branch of tech so that it's easy to access all of your units. Or you can also try to draft a specific random set with an opening in mind, with trying to accomplish something for the team in the opening. Expert teams also like to coordinate during the draft. Like in raids and other games, it's usually good to have a team that is diversified. Maybe you want 1 tank who can build a lot of units with a lot of health to soak up the damage. 1 guy to sort of be the damage per second dealer who can quickly focus fire down the boss. And maybe the last guy will try to get a big econ to carry the late game.
Because if there's too little interaction, it feels like 3 parallel 1v1s. It doesn't feel as much like a team. But if there's too much, it feels like a group consensus problem every turn in order to optimize together your build order.
During a raid, the boss spawns minions in each lane, and you can see what's about to come at you by looking at the boxes at the top. There's also power-ups, which are units underlined in green. That means center lane is about to get a wall underside for the next turn. So you can see how your teammates are doing by panning left and right. So it looks like Will, who's left lane here, has played a very aggressive red rush and is already breaching and taking down the life total of the boss. Alex, meantime, in the center lane, has a very nice random set with a lot of triple blue units and is nicely set up for a late game. Elliot, on the right lane, seems to have a very nice economic start with Vivid Drones and Trinity Drones, and it looks like he's going to be able to stabilize once he gets Centurion and then start getting Sinestras. So
raids require coordination for the players to work together because so Will can say, help here. And then as you can see, there's a ping, and Will is saying, I can't deal with this Tia Thurnax that's about to come at me. Can you please take it with me? Will's red units have very low health, and Tia Thurnax is a massive burst attacker that can suddenly attack for 7. So Will wants Alex to take the Tia Thurnax, and Alex can pull the Tia Thurnax away so that Will doesn't have to deal with it. So yeah, raids are about focusing on your own game, but also looking at the big picture as a whole. So we actually spent a long time to try to make sure that it wasn't just 3 parallel 1v1s where you didn't care what the other guys were doing. But at the same time, you don't want it to be feel like a massive 6-player game where every single head has to keep track of every single little detail. Our system of aggroing the enemy units from each other, and I can share my power-ups with other people. I can give my wall to Elliot. Maybe Elliot needs the wall more. This system sort of gives players the ability to focus on their own role in the raiding team, but also for them to coordinate, and the best teams require a lot of coordination to defeat a boss with a lot of health. And so pulling, you don't want to pull every turn, because every time you pull, the boss heals some health. So it's not a group consensus problem every turn where you got to figure out who gets what. In general, you only want to pull units from each other or give power-ups to each other if one player really needs help. And this can lead to some very interesting strategies. There can be stuff like, often it's decent to maybe have a sacrificial lamb, or maybe they don't die completely, but they completely forego their economy in the early game just to try to land a lot of extra pressure on the boss early. Because as you whittle down the boss's health, the boss will have less spawning power for the future. To kill the boss, you just need one guy to be able to breach and whittle the boss down to 0 health. And then the whole team wins. What I've shown you here is a very specific raid, but really, raids, this is just the beginning. Raids is a general class of ideas of the form, there's a bunch of players trying to take down a boss, working together as a team. It feels somewhere in between a bunch of parallel 1v1s and a massive 10-player game. The players can help each other, there's some interaction, but there's a very strong sense of this is my role on the team, only I can focus on the specific numbers in my game, and I'm going to win my game as long as I can accomplish my goal. We'll work together as a team, and we'll accomplish what we need to defeat the boss. And, we have crazy ideas like quests. A quest can be a sequence of raids that progress, and maybe throughout the quest, you get to keep adding on to your current random set. You get to draft more and refine your set, and maybe by the end, you can hope to have a perfect build that's designed to kill a very specific boss. Maybe the boss only makes low health units, and you have the best bursty rush ever that can just kill all of the boss's low health units. Or maybe there's going to be global effects, global power-ups. Maybe there's a way to give all of your allies a free breach for a turn. I don't know, who knows? The ideas can be up to you too. So I'm really excited about raids, and I would love to hear what you think of them and what ideas you have as well. Thanks, guys.
An animus and just pump Kata right now. I don't have enough drones. I'll drone up for one more turn, I guess.
Yeah.
God, these people play so fast now.
Skill. Yeah, they're all waiting on you.
Yeah, I know. We're like the slow ones. Because there's like 10 people.
We're playing by committee.
Yeah, you can click one of your units and say take this, or oh my god, help me, or I can help. The point is you shouldn't need to be on Ventrilo or TeamSpeak or Mumble or whatever to be able to raid. You should be able to have a raid even with strangers just by sending some basic signals. There's not that much.
I saw Will clicked one of the units in his lane and it moved up to unlock.
Yeah. So that sort of sends a signal. Maybe we used to have more signals and we took them away because we decided that unlock.
It's like in StarCraft, you see a mini-map ping if someone says help me. If I click this, it's essentially going to say help me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we used to have separate, little symbols, right? We had separate emotes.
Yeah.
And we got rid of them because I think we discovered that this system was better. We have so many ideas for raids. We had a raid once that had some ability that froze all your shit. So on turn 10 you have no defenses, and what we're gonna make is we're gonna make quests that are series of these types of things, and it'll probably work maybe you draft a new unit or a new pair of units after every boss, and maybe you draft 2 and throw one away or something. So you have some way to influence your unit set as you progress through the quest, and maybe there'll be 5 different boss fights in one quest, something like that. I don't know. We're thinking pretty epic.
So that's how one type of raid in Prismata might work. And we've been experimenting a lot, trying a lot of things. And I hope that sometime next year we'll be able to put out a quest, which will consist of sort of 5 bosses, a sequence of them, that will explore a lot of different types and themes with raids. And we can see how you guys like it and see how it works and go from there. I guess one thing I wanted to mention is that we're not working hardcore on raids right now because we really want to focus on the single player and building out all the other features in the game. So we're not like, we didn't advertise raids heavily. We're not trying to say that Prismata is all about raids. Raids could be a huge thing. It could be something with a big competitive scene. We've thought of all these difficulty modifiers that we could add to raids that you could optionally put on and try and really crank up the difficulty and achieve a great, you know, we could have a leaderboard with how awesome you are at raids. There's all kinds of directions it can go. So if you have any feedback on raids, if there's anything you really want to see or any ideas you have, we'd love to hear about them.
Yeah, maybe like raid speedrunning. I think would be fun. You can have raids with like a shared time bank.
We've tried that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Lots of yelling at each other.
Yeah. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.
See you guys.